business is the backbone of our economy. The shared office space industry has grown fivefold since even the pandemic because you've recognized the value of agility, the value of flexibility, and especially as moving some of the barriers that prevent businesses to be able to start a business through flexibility and not worry about whether your capital is going into long-term leases.
Today we are exploring the intersection of professional environments and purposeful leadership. In 2026, a workspace is no longer just four walls. It is a hub for connection, regional growth, and community impact.
Celebrating yourself in your journey is so important. Stop trying to force yourself on a table. Patting yourself on the back when you achieve certain things and recognizing that, reflecting on that, to me is very important.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the She and Success podcast, powered by She and Success Business Magazine, a platform dedicated to spotlighting the voices, strategies and journeys of women leaders and entrepreneurs who are shaping Canada's business and policy landscape. Today we are exploring the intersection of professional environments and purposeful leadership. In 2026, a workspace is no longer just four walls. It is a hub for connection, regional growth, and community impact. Joining us today is Ritu Kohli-Sethi, Managing Partner at the Greater Toronto Executive Centre and an Ivy EMBA graduate. With 30 years of experience, Ritu is a powerhouse connector serving on the Mississauga Board of Trade and the Boundless Accelerator. Beyond GTEC, she is the Executive Director of the Artspiration Foundation, where she empowers the next generation to lead with confidence. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Ritu, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I've been looking forward to this episode now, specifically, and here's a small disclaimer for our audience. When Canadian SME started, we started with GTEC, with Ritu's support in, and a shared office space. And ever since, she has seen our journey from that day to this day. And we're just incredibly grateful to have such support from such incredible human beings like yourself. So a big thank you from SK side, entire Canadian SME side. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And I have to say, coming in here and beaming, because it is so wonderful to see you growing this way. I'm very proud to be a part of that journey. Thank you so much.
It's amazing. Now, for this podcast conversation, Ritu, you lead GTEC's operations for premium, flexible workspaces, right? But your approach goes far beyond just real estate, right? So what was the vision behind GTEC and how exactly does it, foster meaningful connections? Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Next year will be our 20th year in business. So we've certainly seen a lot of different landscapes. And the founder, Sam Coley, who's my brother, I think envisioned, being a serial entrepreneur himself, envisioned the idea of it shouldn't be complicated to start a business. You need flexibility, affordability, and also a space where you are surrounded by a network of individuals. It's very easy to become silos when we are launching our own business, starting that own journey. Yeah. But, working within the ecosystem that is affordable, flexible, gives you the ability to scale your business and scale your spaces. And at the same time, most importantly, you use those funds use that capital towards your business and growing your business.
Definitely. I think creating an environment, as you said, that prioritizes high-level synergy over simple square footage. When people usually talk about office spaces, it's what makes your organization a vital engine for local business. And we are a live example and we can, vouch for this firsthand ourselves as well. Now, let's explore your role in driving regional economic growth across the GTA, Ritu. So, I'd love for you to educate our audience about how do flexible workspaces contribute to the regional economic growth? How does an office space relate to the economy growth? So bridge the gap.
Of course, of course. Well, I mean, starting any business, that is really the fundamental foundation of your economy. Small business is the backbone of our economy, especially in Ontario as well. And to be able to start a business through flexibility and not worry about whether your capital is going into long-term spaces, long-term leases, committing your dollars there where rather than focusing on growing your business and most importantly, removing the barriers. That's what our environment is all about. And as you've seen, the co-working industry, the shared office space industry has grown fivefold since even the pandemic because you've recognized the value of agility, the value of flexibility, and the value of being able to having a decentralized space where you can work essentially work for your business. Whether you work from home, whether you and just simply want a business address, whether you're wanting an office space that's not a full-time dedicated space, or whether you just want a workspace where you're starting out and you want a space that allows you to grow with your staff and whatever your requirements are. Most importantly, we also create our own ecosystem where there are people doing business with one another. And you get the opportunity to connect with each other and foster collaborations and grow your business that way as well. So there's quite a few areas where I think, especially as removing some of the barriers that prevent businesses from starting their business, growing their business, that's what our goal is, to provide that flexibility and budget-friendly options.
And you have done so beautifully well in this space because providing scalable infrastructure, it allows businesses to, remain agile and rooted in the community as they grow as well and, not get distant from the roots.
Absolutely.
That is very important.
Yes.
Now I'd love to talk about Artspiration that I also mentioned in the intro. So what is Artspiration Foundation and how exactly does it support future women leaders? I'm very excited for this one. So go ahead.
Of course. And, everything like this comes from a personal story, right? I mean, if you look at our workforce, I know many of us invest a lot of time, and organizations invest a lot of time in workforce that starts where they identify starts in college, university, or postgrad. But if you think about it, high school is really where all your decisions and the pressure begins, right? We're in that stage where not only are we going through personal issues ourselves, but we're expected to know by the time we hit grade 12 what the next 30 years of our life looks like.
Right.
But today there's such a gap between that information and what are the industry opportunities out there. And that's what Artspiration Foundation is all about, the art of building confidence and career dreams. And our goal, we are a nonprofit, it's around empowering girls between the ages of 8 to 18 to explore and align their passion with their developing skills and aligning it with viable industry career pathways, learning about different industry sectors and mentorship, of course, but most importantly, fostering communication within their families so they can confidently make choices, whatever they choose to do post-secondary. It could be high school, it could be college, university, a specialty form. It doesn't matter. But what are the opportunities available to them? And that's what we're all about.
Beautiful. I think this is such a timely conversation that is happening because we talk about all these things at a very later stage in life. But actually, when it matters the most is those foundational years when you're making those small decisions in your career, your education, right? And having that right support is going to change the entire life trajectory. So this is such a crucial thing that you're doing. So for all the listeners, please check out more about the foundation in the description below. We'll put down all the links. And also, I love the name. How did you come up with this name, Artspiration? It's a mixture of inspiration and art, right?
It is. Well, look at what the phrase "the art of" means in our business world, right? It's all about leveling up. Whether it's the art of sales, art of marketing, art of whatever that looks like. Essentially, it means about personal development, growing your skills. And so I thought the name would be perfect. We definitely stuck to it. And the tagline is what hopefully explains everything to everybody. Yes.
Beautiful. I think investing in the confidence of next generation ensures that our future leadership landscape is both diverse and high performing and aware. So all credit goes to this incredible lady sitting right here. To the leaders and mentors watching, in 2026, your legacy isn't measured by your revenue, but by the doors you open for others. Ritu's work with the Artspiration Foundation is a masterclass in aligning purpose with action. If you have reached a level of success, it is your responsibility to reach back and guide the next generation of girls through their career journeys. Empowerment starts with a single conversation and a safe space to grow. Don't just build a business, build a pathway for someone else to follow. visit artspiration.ca to see how you can support this vital mission. We'll take a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere. There's still more to explore about leadership, purpose, and creating meaningful impact. We'll be right back.
At Purolator, we understand the importance of every delivery, whether it's a document, a special gift, a critical healthcare shipment, or an entire warehouse worth of inventory. Throughout our more than 60-year history, we've honed our expertise to build out a powerful portfolio of logistics services that enable us to deliver on every promise. Whether shipping across town or around the globe, from small and medium-sized businesses to industrial, technology, retail, and healthcare sectors, Purolator serves a diverse array of customers. So no matter what, where, or when you're shipping, Purolator's expertise, experience, and innovative solutions enable us to deliver on your promises.
Welcome back to the She and Success podcast. Let's continue the conversation with Ritu Kohli-Sethi as we explore how purpose-driven leadership creates lasting impact in business and community. Ritu, let's now explore aligning personal purpose with meaningful action, right? So when we talk about community, everyone has a different definition and a different meaning to it, right? For you, from your extensive experience, how do you balance business operations with community commitments? Because balance is everything. So what's your secret sauce?
Well, balance is always, to me, I think, a term that's pressuring on its own. I think it's always an ebb and flow, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes your business requires more of your time. For me, I mean, the last 6 months has been that. I've really been rooted in day-to-day activities, and other times your personal life or your other commitments take over. So, and it is a struggle, but of course you navigate through, and most importantly, you have the support system in place, like any other entrepreneur in mind or any other business owner in mind. That's really, really important. But to me, community giving back is rooted within our business. It's actually something that is in our family as a legacy. It was, since growing up, I remember Rotary was a big deal for my dad. But what community doing Seva, which is giving back to the communities, is ingrained as part of our family. So, and for any business, to me, having a strong foothold within your community, being able to give back and serve to your community is really, really important. And you can do that in many different ways, whether it's through mentorship, whether it's through donating funds, whether it's through, offering your space for something particular. But it should be a core element of your business rather than one versus the other. And that's just simply how I look at it.
You explained it so beautifully well. And I think when any human being is doing anything with the pure intention and pure purpose, it shows, right?
Appreciate it.
You are genuinely an incredible soul. I can see it in your eyes, how passionate you are about the work that you do. And when I meet women who are equally passionate, I get super excited about it. So, let's now talk about storytelling as a source of inspiration and connection. What role does storytelling personally play for you in your life, firstly?
I'm always one that's usually behind the lens or behind a camera. So the space is always good to me. My storytelling is usually through my photos, and my personal meditation is my social photo diaries page. But to me, social storytelling is really, really important because it makes you human. It gives you that element of, it humbles you in many ways, because where you can talk about your successes and, share all of that, but what about the setbacks? What did you learn from those experiences? I think that's a really, really important part, and that should be an important part of who you are, what you do, as well as your business. I mean, sharing those stories, it also empowers you to connect with others very well. I think, especially in our world, we're surrounded by business owners. We're surrounded by people who are starting up their business. The learning curve alone is high, but also the nerves are high,
Right.
the setbacks, the second guessing yourself in so many different ways. So having those conversations with our clients as well, just talking about what their journey is, offering suggestions, what we learned from an experience, really strengthens those connections.
Wow. I think specifically sharing your authentic journey, it humanizes your leadership and builds a level of trust that a corporate bio simply cannot achieve. And what you mentioned about maintaining a social diary, does it have a mixture of your wins and not so big win days as well? Or
Absolutely. It's through, I have a perspective. I love to capture those perspectives, but also share a story around that. And you're right, it absolutely does. There are days that we don't have great moments. There are days where we just want to shut down and shut out from everybody.
Right.
And there are other days where we're just like, nothing is going right. what do I pick because it's overwhelming? So yeah, I certainly make sure I talk about that experience.
This is so important. Why? Because usually when we open Instagram or LinkedIn, all we see is the success stories or, people just doing great things. And sometimes, you know how they say that it's lonely at the top? When you look at everyone around you just cheering and celebrating, there's a voice that goes in your mind that, oh, do I have this lonely life and everyone else is enjoying? But that's actually not the case, right? What anyone is pushing out on the social media is just a slice of their life, not the entire life. So thank you for mentioning that. It was very important. When we talk about women in business, specifically in Canada, they are, contributing equally to the economy, if not more, right? But still, when we talk about the recognition, they still lag behind a lot. Right now, still, I'm proud to say that things are changing. Women right now have stopped demanding a seat at the table. They are creating their own tables, right? This is my favorite line. I say this a lot. From your perspective, I'm sure you must have also walked into rooms that are male-dominated, right? Or there's no one else who is maybe looking like you. So how exactly do you deal with that kind of a scenario? What goes on in your mind? And also, what advice do you have for other women who are in a similar space right now?
I think the fact that we're sitting here in this podcast speaks volumes.
Right.
And creating platforms such as this where you do get to share a story, share about a journey, which will always differ from the opposite gender. We all know that because our trials, tribulations, like every other individual, are different. We have a lot of other things that we have to look into. And just women in general have that nature where you're not just sitting here, you're probably thinking about 5 other things that you got to take care of.
Right.
And that's absolutely how it is. And I think the one point that you made is something that I live by as well. And I've been learning that over time, where stop trying to force yourself on a table, create your own. And it took me decades to learn that, because it's always, celebrating your successes. It's not in our nature, stay humble, stay tuned, don't talk about certain things, don't do certain things, or only like celebrating yourself in your journey is so important. Not as much as right when you think you're right at the top, but along the way, patting yourself on the back when you achieve certain things and recognizing that, reflecting on that, to me is very, very important. And another really critical element for me is surrounding yourself with like-minded people, people you look up to, whether that be through mentorship, whether that to be fellow entrepreneurs, whether that is through joining organizations that encourage collaboration, promote sharing one another's stories, and create that safe space. For me personally, the starting point was I joined the Mississauga Area Women in Business, a phenomenal group. And I think I learned a lot about self-empowerment through the various stories and the people I had the opportunity to connect with. And only from there you can take it up and in turn help future leaders not worry about these little details that we get hung up on today. So
definitely very well articulated again. I'm loving this conversation and this almost feels therapeutic to me. But before we let you go, Ritu, and definitely we're getting her back for a deeper discussion where we get to talk more about her challenges and her journey and how she got to a point where she is now and how she achieved this incredible success that she has. But Ritu, before we let you go now, if there's one final mantra of success that you have in your life today. We all have those days when we don't want to get out of bed. We still do, right? So on those days, what do you tell yourself? What is that one thing that, you keep whispering to yourself that makes you jump out of bed and go like, no, I'll go ahead no matter what?
You got to make that happen. You know what? On those challenge days, sometimes when I can't, first of all, I'm not hard on myself anymore. I can't beat myself up over that. If I need to just stop and take a break, you're just gonna have to go through it. Yeah. That's where I binge watch. That's where I get to shut down. I say, okay, it's okay. I'm just not going to be productive today, and that's okay. However, I still need to know what that day looks like. And as long as I can ensure that work is being done one way or the other, it's handled, or the commitments I've been able to address to a certain level, that is what enables me to do that, number one. The second is picking up a phone and talking to somebody who, as I said, is a mentor to me, or somebody that I look up to, or somebody that I know will understand where I'm at. Because sometimes a simple conversation to just alleviate whatever you're going through, or just say, okay, you're not alone. It's all right. And then the third would be just, for me, when I'm very overwhelmed, is just make a list. Pen to paper, make a list of anything, even the simplest task, just make a list. And then I start with that. And as for me, the therapy is crossing it off, right?
Yes.
If I can at least get to a
The
point.
satisfaction when you get when you were done taking that thing off.
And
it's
the line
very-
is there. Here's 10 items. You're now at 7. It's just even something simple of that, prioritizing that, because that's what helps me get through those challenging moments.
Beautiful. I think these are some golden tips for all of our listeners as well. Ritu, it was such an incredible conversation today. We are extremely grateful for your presence, and we can't wait to, have more conversations with you as well. So
I
thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Ritu Kohli-Sethi from GTEC and the Artspiration Foundation, a masterclass in how to build a premium business environment while staying deeply rooted in community impact and regional growth. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning into the She and Success podcast, powered by She and Success Business Magazine. Be sure to subscribe for more expert insights and visit sheandsuccess.ca for more such resources. A very special thank you to our exclusive shipping partner, Purolator, for their ongoing commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs and helping them build, grow, and lead successful businesses across Canada. Kripa Anand, signing off.